6 inches in some places.
Use oxygen better to keep my natural energy going. All I know is I can feel it.
Find the energy. Feel your Ginsana.
You get robbed!
Never! And to get the most out of your workout, try new Ginsana Sport.
There are those among us with very simple tastes. They only want the best. And for them, there's Fancy Feast gourmet cat food. Exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
Here's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
The storm system over the Ohio Valley region continues its move to the northeast. Snow is falling in Cincinnati at this hour, and skies are threatening in Allentown, Pennsylvania. As the northeast braces for this major storm, you'll begin to see the effects on the southern fringe of the region by this evening. Good morning. Welcome to Weather Center, sponsored by Cadillac. I'm Marshall Seas. We'll join Rick Griffin in the Forecast Center for the latest on this system in just a moment. Elsewhere, look for sprinkles today in Seattle, while mostly overcast skies are expected in Los Angeles. You'll enjoy the sunshine today in Phoenix with temperatures in the low 80s, but coats are required this Sunday in Detroit. You'll only hit the upper 30s for your high. Now with details on the snow system moving toward the northeast, let's join Rick Griffin in the Forecast Center.
Thanks, Marshall. Well, moderately heavy snow beginning to fall around our nation's capital right now, and that snow is expected to increase in coverage and spread up towards Philadelphia, Trenton, Newark, New York City, Hartford, and then Providence and Boston during the overnight hours. The height of the winter storm will be sometime probably during the day on Monday, and just where that rain-snow line is going to be is still a bit of a question mark. So stay with us as we refine the forecast. And by the way, Paul Cosin, our winter weather expert, will be telling us the latest on what he thinks with this developing storm in just a moment. Let's go to Tulsa. It's been snow in Tulsa, lots of it. 6 inches of snow in the area, although some locations near the city recorded from 8 to 10 inches of total accumulation. So Saturday's rain in the morning turned to snow by midday and left these wintry scenes in its wake. Skies will be clearing in Tulsa this afternoon, and the first part of the week will be much nicer as it warms up dramatically. Another snowy scene, Cincinnati, Ohio. It took a while for the snow to move into Cincinnati, but once it arrived, it started falling heavily, and just in the last few hours, there have been some travel headaches, and one location that's had some tough times is the Cincinnati airport, and Jim Cantori is there via the phone lines. Jim, any flights arriving or departing at this point?
They're not, Rick. Basically, the airport has been shut down due to 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates, and I'm telling you, it's just amazing. I continue to sit out here looking out past this jetway of just everything flocked in white. I mean, if you can picture in your mind like Christmas time, and if you've ever seen a flocked Christmas tree where it's just completely covered, we have a very wet, sticky snow, silver dollar-sized snowflakes coming down. Visibility is right around a half a mile. And it just continues to come down very heavily as they try and scrape the runways and the tarmac area as well. So it's really causing some major problems here. They've already canceled several flights, and we're obviously trying to jump ahead of the storm now to get up to Boston, and that's going to be delayed as well until we get further notice. But I can't imagine what the roads are looking like as well, especially given the speed and intensity of how fast the snow moved on in. You saw the pictures of the Ohio River looking back at Cincinnati, where visibility is down to near whiteout conditions there as well. So things are not looking good here in the city of Covington and at the airport. Right now, the airport shut down due to snow removal. If you've got a flight here, folks, call ahead. And if you have to head out, please be extra careful because the roads are very, very slippery and slushy due to the wet nature of the snow. We'll keep you posted here from Cincinnati. Rick, back to you.
Thanks, Jim, for that update. Well, let's go right to our current surface map and look at what's happening right now, and then we'll get to the forecast maps. What we have is strong low pressure in northern Alabama. Paul Cosin tells me there's a secondary low beginning to take shape. That's going to be important for you folks in the major cities of the east. We've got the severe weather threat, and we'll go back to the studio in just a moment to talk about that. There's freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and the snow has been really, really heavy from Missouri through Oklahoma into Kansas. Dodge City picking up 14 inches, Garden City 12, but look at Cassville, Missouri, 23 inches of snow there, one of the heaviest snows in many, many years in southwest Missouri, south of Springfield. Well, the snow has ended there, but it's just beginning, let's say, in the Washington, D.C. area. Paul, moderate snow already all around our nation's capital. How much snow is going to fall this morning, and what's the timetable for the cities farther north like Philadelphia, New York, and Boston?
It's a lot of questions, Rick. There's a lot of things going on. Low pressure is heading right now, moving across from the southeastern United States as a redeveloped center, and we're seeing that snow streak across the Ohio Valley towards the east as that secondary low now moves northeastward up along the Atlantic seaboard. We're starting to see that influx of Atlantic moisture that's causing the snowfall rates in Washington to increase. Still a big question whether or not they change terrain right in the cities of Washington, Baltimore, Philly, New York, and Boston. But it does look like, right now with some of the new information coming in, that this is going to be a very significant snowstorm, especially just north and west, possibly even in the cities themselves. These will be continuing to move northeastward, the heavy snow that is, through the period. More energy coming into that storm tomorrow as it's developing off of New England, and it possibly is going to be a very, very large snowstorm for northern New England as the snow is winding up in the major cities.
Well, it's safe to say it's going to be a really tough rush hour for some folks, especially on the northwest side of New York, up around Hartford and Philly and Trenton and D.C. too.
Tomorrow morning's rush hour will be a very interesting trick throughout all of the major northeastern cities.
Okay, well, right now some of the heavier snow is falling through the Ohio Valley with that pocket of energy coming through. We can see that on the satellite picture. And as you mentioned, Paul, that area of enhanced cloudiness is now expanding quite a bit.
Right, we will see that continuing through the day as that continues to move northeast. We'll see the low coming up the coast. Watch this area. It's going to be growing as it heads towards the east coast.
And we look at our regional radar. Where's the heaviest snow now?
Heaviest snow is right through Cincinnati, lower Indiana, extreme lower. It's shrinking down in Illinois, but we're also seeing that area further to the east that's really developing quite strongly. That's the area we're going to focus on later in the day.
In the mid-Atlantic, we see the rapidly intensifying, if you will, precipitation.
Right, and that's going to be moving towards the northeast, up towards Allentown and New York City.
Okay, well, Paul, thanks a lot. Speaking of Allentown, we've got a couple of live crews in the field, and our first stop is going to be in Allentown with Jill Callahan. We'll get to her in just a second, but we've got to remind you that Bill Keneally will be talking about the storm approaching White Plains. Let's start with Jill, though, in Allentown. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Rick. Actually, no sign of precipitation here yet. We're actually just a few minutes from downtown Allentown in front of Doherty Park. Behind me, you can see that's a big amusement park, which is located on Hamilton Boulevard at the intersection of Interstate 78. It's currently about 35 degrees here in the Allentown area under mostly cloudy skies. The clouds are expected to thicken and lower as the day progresses, and then the snow should start moving in later this afternoon. By tonight, we could see about an inch of snow in this area, and it should all be over by midday tomorrow. But by then, we could see up to 8 inches of snow in the Allentown area, which that would be just about as much snow as this area has seen since the first of the year. Since January 1st, the Allentown area has only had about 8.88 inches of snow. So as folks in this area start bracing for what could be the first major snowstorm of the season, things are looking good. The roads are relatively warm, which is a good thing. That could help with snow clearing efforts. That's the story here in Allentown.
For this week